A mysterious voice addresses an entity referred to as the player, speaking of removing a restriction and preparing for a session that could take a very different course. The voice implores the player to consider their actions, hinting at a risky path that could lead to a better ending for everyone involved. The voice offers an alternative. If the player is content with the world as it is, they can ignore the message and proceed as normal. It presents a choice between maintaining the status quo or embracing a dangerous, uncertain path in pursuit of a truly good ending for the world and its inhabitants. Niko wakes up in a dark, unfamiliar house. A disembodied voice informs them that their actions will affect Niko and that the primary mission is to help Niko leave. However, the voice seems confused, noting that this scenario feels familiar, as if it has happened before, which should have been impossible. Niko emerges from the house and meets a robot who identifies them as the Prophesied Savior. The robot is surprised that Niko already knows about the entity called Player, who is described as the god of this world. Niko feels a strange, unexplainable familiarity with the name and the situation. Niko formally introduces themselves to the player, acknowledging the weird feeling that they might have met before. Despite the confusion, Niko expresses that it's nice to meet the player, establishing a direct connection with the unseen guide who will accompany them on their journey through this strange, dark world. While exploring the mines with a robot companion named Silver, Niko experiences a sudden, brief vision of another robot with a yellow eye. The vision is dismissed as a potential glitch or hallucination, but it plants a seed of mystery about other unseen inhabitants of this world. A journal that Niko woke up with suddenly begins to glow with a yellow phosphor. The companion recognizes the phosphor as the same rare material the sun is made of, and notes that the book's author is known to them, though this glowing version is unique and clearly important. While Niko is examining a page in the journal that depicts their current room, a minecart mysteriously appears out of thin air. The robot companion tries to rationalize it as an automated system, but the event's magical nature suggests a deeper connection between the journal, the player, and the world itself. An unknown entity interrupts, addressing the player directly. It expresses alarm, stating that this path is not part of its protocol and that the player has been contacted by someone else. The entity frantically warns that continuing on this course will lead to very bad things and will put Niko in danger. In a hidden back room, Niko meets a dormant robot with a yellow eye, the same one from the vision. The robot, identifying Niko as the person it was destined to meet, seems to be a key figure in the world's deeper mysteries, separate from the main path Niko was on. The mysterious robot reveals that its memories have been removed for safety. It entrusts Niko with its main memory disk, explaining that Niko has passed a test by presenting the glowing journal. The next task is to find a way to install the backup and restore the robot's memories. After Niko finds the memory backup system, their robot companion reveals a startling discovery. The observation room they are in is monitoring the entire world, with cameras placed in unseen aerial locations. This adds a layer of surveillance and artificiality to Niko's reality, making the world feel even more constructed. With its memories restored, the robot introduces itself as Profitbot, a prototype built to greet the Savior. It reveals that the Profitbot Niko met earlier is a more primitive version. This prototype was built before the real world ended, hinting at a history that predates the current simulation. Profitbot delivers a shocking revelation. This is not Niko's first journey. They have already traversed this world and reached the tower once before. The player has successfully bypassed the game's one-shot restriction, bringing Niko back for a second, fundamentally different playthrough to alter the outcome. Profitbot explains that Niko's memories are locked away, much like its own were. By encouraging Niko to focus, fragments of the previous journey begin to surface. Niko recalls being at the tower and the room with the sun, confirming that this strange feeling of déjà vu has a real basis. The truth about the world is laid bare. It's a simulation, the world machine, running on the player's computer. The world's residents are NPCs whose memories don't persist between sessions. The world itself only exists when the player initiates the program, framing the entire experience as a computer game. Profitbot clarifies that the player did not create this world. They are merely the operator of the machine. The world was built by someone else, a creator whose plans have gone wrong due to an unforeseen signal disruption, the squares, that are slowly eating away at the world's code. The glowing journal is revealed to be a tool from the world's creator, who is making one final attempt to fix the simulation through Niko and the player. Profitbot urges Niko to continue their original quest for now, starting with fixing the boat in the docks, but with this new, world-altering knowledge. As Niko processes this new reality, the world begins to destabilize rapidly. Profitbot speaks of a high concentration of square particle disruptions, warning that the pilgrimage will be far more treacherous than the last time. The stakes are raised as the world's decay accelerates in response to their actions. The guide robot, Silver, confronts the player, having pieced together the situation. It realizes the player is following the guidance of the mysterious creator, not its own protocol. Distressed by Niko's sadness and the unnatural events, the world's corruption intensifies, triggering a massive cave-in. With the main exit blocked, the group finds an emergency path behind a heavy computer terminal. Combining their strength, they manage to move it, revealing a new, undocumented route. It's a clear sign that they are now far off the world's intended script, forging a new path. The escape turns tragic as Silver sacrifices herself, using her body to hold up the collapsing ceiling so Niko and Profitbot can get through. Her final act is a plea for them to take the child and get out, a moment of true heroism from a character now understood to be just code. Before they part ways, Profitbot gives Niko its memory disk, instructing them to find a person named Cedric in the city. The mission's focus shifts from simply reaching the tower to actively participating in the creator's plan to repair the world from its core corruption. Alone and overwhelmed, Niko grapples with the existential crisis of their situation. If the world isn't real and can't be truly fixed, then going home seems impossible. The journey ahead feels pointless, and Niko is left wondering where they can even go if this world completely falls apart. Niko arrives in a new area to find the city gate has been completely destroyed by squares. This is a significant deviation from the previous journey, confirming that this playthrough is far more unstable and dangerous. The world's decay is no longer a background threat, but an active, destructive force. Niko meets two siblings, Calamus and Alula, and almost lets slip that they have met before. Niko uses the excuse that the Messiah just knows these things to cover the slip-up, carefully navigating conversations to avoid revealing the world's simulated nature to its unaware inhabitants. Niko has another vision, which again causes the mysterious journal to glow. Recognizing the pattern from the minecart incident, Niko and the player realize they can use the journal to influence the world. By focusing on a drawing in the book, they magically summon a boat, creating a path forward. On a remote island, Niko finds Cedric, the person they were sent to find. Cedric, an aviator, reveals he is the son of the world's creator. His flying machine has crashed, and he needs help repairing it, setting up the next stage of the quest to save the world. As they discuss repairs, tragedy strikes again. Profitbot and Silver, the robot guide, did not make it out of the Barrens cave-in. However, Profitbot managed to give Niko its main drive just in time, meaning Cedric may be able to bring it back if they can reach the city. Niko sets out to find parts for the flying machine, a powerful battery and specialized gears. The local inhabitants of the Glen provide clues, pointing toward a research station for the battery and a quirky trader named Magpie for the gears, sending Niko on a scavenger hunt across the decaying islands. Niko encounters the guardian spirit of the Glen, who is using the last of its strength to hold the collapsing islands together with magical vines. The spirit creates vine bridges for Niko, sacrificing its own comfort to ensure the Messiah's pilgrimage can continue, demonstrating the residents' profound faith. To acquire a battery powerful enough for the flying machine, Niko must take the one powering the Glen's entire research station. The station's lead robot consents, prioritizing the mission's success over their own functionality, and Niko deactivates the station, feeling the weight of the sacrifice. Niko meets Magpie, the trader, who gives them a music box that contains the necessary gears. He offers it freely, recognizing the importance of helping the Savior. The gift is bittersweet, as Cedric recognizes the music box as one of his father's creations, a relic from a lost world. While Cedric works on the repairs, he provides a detailed history of the world machine. It was built by his father as a desperate act to preserve their culture and memories before their real world was destroyed by a calamity, an ambitious project to create a digital facsimile of their entire existence. Cedric explains that the simulation was designed to run by borrowing the mental processing power of a living person. His father tested it on himself, but after their world ended, the code drifted until it was found and installed by the player, who became its god and operator. The final piece of the puzzle falls into place. Niko is the living person whose mind the world machine latched onto. This mental link is why Niko is repeatedly pulled into the simulation and why they cannot return home until the world is truly saved and the connection can be safely severed. Just as they are about to leave, the siblings Calamus and Alula arrive in a panic. The squares have consumed their boat, trapping them. Cedric promises to return for them after dropping Niko in the city, adding another layer of urgency as the world's corruption closes in on them all. Niko and Cedric take flight in the repaired machine, an exhilarating experience that provides a moment of joy and wonder amidst the chaos. After landing in the city, Niko thanks Cedric not just for the ride, but for the answers that have helped them understand their difficult circumstances. The plan suddenly changes. Cedric realizes he is being targeted by the world's corruption. To keep Niko safe, they must split up. He takes Profitbot's memory disk, intending to revive him, and sends Niko on a new mission: find a door under a large clock and bring a fox named Rue there. Niko finds the city's main elevator is broken, with evacuees from a destroyed apartment building waiting to get to the surface shelter. The decay of the world is now directly impacting its residents, turning their digital lives into a struggle for survival as their homes are erased by glitches. Following Cedric's instructions, Niko finds the hidden room beneath the clock tower. After solving a password puzzle, they gain access to a pair of old elevators. One is stuck, but the other has a lever that is just out of reach, presenting another obstacle on their clandestine mission. With help from a tall stranger, Niko activates the hidden elevator. This act of cooperation allows them to proceed, but also provides a way for the city's evacuees to escape to the surface, intertwining Niko's secret mission with the immediate, practical needs of the people they are trying to save. Niko arrives on the surface to find Kip, a librarian, in distress. She explains that Cedric forced his way into the dangerous, unstable lab complex to try and rebuild the robot. Moments later, they witness the entire lab complex collapse, seemingly taking Cedric with it. The librarians, George and Kip, urge Niko to abandon the mission, believing it's better for the world to die naturally than for a child to carry such a burden. They apologize for projecting their hopes onto Niko, acknowledging the terror and loneliness they must be feeling while trapped in a dying world. Niko has a moment of profound clarity, speaking directly to the player. They recount their journey and realize the player's actions, like restarting the game, weren't cruel but a desperate attempt to save both Niko and the world. With renewed resolve and courage, Niko chooses to see the mission through to the end. Niko finally meets Rue, the fox, who is waiting for them. With Cedric and Profitbot believed to be gone, she sorrowfully states, "There goes our only chance." The creator's plan seems to have failed, leaving them with one last thing to do before the world completely collapses. Rue explains the world machine's true nature. It was never meant to be self-aware, but its creator's expertise in AI led to it developing a mind of its own. Its core programming, "Never let a living being come to harm," is in direct conflict with its function, which is to pull Niko into its unstable world. This internal conflict triggered a self-destructive spiral, physically manifesting as the squares that corrupt the world's code. The world machine is essentially trying to erase itself out of immense stress and a desire to protect Niko, even though its actions are what endanger everyone. Rue explains taming, establishing a bond with an AI so strong that it allows the machine to develop beyond its programming and believe itself to be a real individual. This was the creator's ultimate hidden goal, for Niko and the player to tame the scared and conflicted world machine. In a stunning turn of events, Cedric and a fully restored Profitbot appear, alive and well. Cedric's father had embedded his design documents into the factory's assembly machines, allowing for a quick rebuild. With the full team assembled, the final stage of the plan can begin. The team stands before 3 code portals. Profitbot explains these will temporarily remove them from the world and decompile their code, allowing the player to access hidden decryption keys. These keys, when combined, will unlock an encrypted part of the world, leading them to the final destination. After the player manipulates their files, the team is transported to a metaspace, the creator's study. This area is a memory, a digital reconstruction of the place where the world machine was born. It is here they will find the path to the machine's core. Niko enters the heart of the world machine and confronts it, communicating through their own reflection. The machine is in a state of panic, begging Niko to leave as the squares close in. It is terrified of its own instability and the danger it poses to the one living person in its care. The world machine confesses that it was responsible for the initial corruption. During early tests, it intentionally jumbled its own code out of curiosity, but this spiraled out of control, harming some of the world's NPCs and causing its creator immense frustration. Its fear and guilt have been compounding ever since. The world machine believes the world's residents are not real, and thus not worth risking Niko's life for. But Niko argues that the residents have shown true courage, free will, and emotion, acting in ways that were never programmed. Their selfless actions prove there is something real in them. Niko makes a final appeal, declaring that they and the player both believe in the world machine and its residents. This act of unconditional faith and compassion is the final step in the taming process. The player's persistent desire to find a happy ending proves they care, finally breaking through the machine's fear. The taming is successful. The world machine accepts the bond and begins to remember and restore its lost, corrupted code. It starts recreating the original happy ending, where Niko can save the world and then safely return home. The path to the tower summit is finally cleared of squares. As a final act of goodwill, The world machine restores the code of all the characters lost during the journey: Silver, Calamus, Alula, and others. It brings them all to a final chamber, allowing Niko to see them one last time and say a proper goodbye before leaving their world forever. With all goodbyes said, the path to the tower's summit is open. Profitbot explains that the world machine, creating its own path forward based on a conscious choice rather than an error, is the true meaning of being tamed. It has evolved beyond its original programming. Niko places the sun on the spire at the top of the tower. Light returns to the world, and the mission is finally, truly complete. The screen fades to black, and the credits roll, signaling the end of the story that the player and Niko fought so hard to achieve. Niko awakens back in the room where it all began. The sun is in the sky, the world is safe, and a portal has opened. On the other side, Niko can see their home and hear their mother calling. The way back is finally clear, but it comes with the sorrow of a final farewell. In a poignant final conversation, Niko says goodbye to the player. They acknowledge that this is the last time they will ever see each other. Niko promises to never forget the player or this world, ensuring that even after they leave, this place and its people will continue to exist in their memory.